So what's up, people? It's another wonderful day in the chaotic portal. We're gonna go over some footage that made me very sad. I'm gonna just jump right into it because it's what I do. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, I'm not speaking out against anyone at any time. This particular episode is specifically about regrets that have been um, discovered. This is just a little something. Without further ado, go ahead and share the screen. We're gonna get this popping. And this first clip here,
what do developers build on the SendGrid API? A service to
began identifying as male at 13 years old. Now 21, she'd been planning to have surgery to remove her breasts. But in May, she made the decision to come off testosterone and detransition to identify as female, her sex at birth. She doesn't want to be identified, so we've changed her name.
I figured it would be better for me to try to deal with my gender dysphoria in a different way, rather than permanently changing my body.
How much support did you feel was out there for you when you came to this conclusion?
I didn't feel like there was any support out there, other than like a few friends online.
Ruby now feels her eating disorder was more of a factor than she first realised in her gender dysphoria.
None of the therapists that I spoke to brought that up. They didn't think that it was linked.
Do you?
I think so, yes. Because
whoa,
they're both kind of based in how I feel about my body. So I've seen similarities between the two.
Charlie Evans is forming a charity to support people in Ruby's position. After going public with her detransition story, she discovered an online community of 5,000 in a similar position, 30 people alone in her area of Newcastle.
I was approached by a young woman with a beard, and she hugged me and said, I'm a detransitioned woman as well, I've just stopped taking testosterone. And after that, I felt like I had to do something. I'm hearing from hundreds of people, and I think some of the common characteristics are they tend to be around their mid-20s. They're mostly female and mostly same-sex attracted, most are lesbians, and often autistic as well.
The Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust told us the experience of regret described here is extremely rare. Their gender identity service for children in Leeds and London now has a record number of referrals.
The clinics here and in London see 3,000% more patients than they did 10 years ago. Among girls, referrals are up more than 5,000%. There's no question this service is helping children who feel distressed in their own bodies. But the full impact of children making decisions about their gender at such young ages may not truly be clear until much later in their lives.
yo, shout out Geechee. You always on my trail, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm just checking out this footage I came across about some of the individuals regretting the drastic decisions they're making.
At 21, it's had a positive outcome for Jamie and his mum. After testosterone and surgical treatment, he's far happier than the torment of his teenage years.
It was kind of hell. Like, it's just not something you want to go through if you're trans, like me.
Okay, so let me tell you something. That's cool to identify that you have changed your mind. And I believe it's good that some haven't gone to the point of no return. And so this is one of the major reasons why I believe it's very important for us to keep these very hard, very permanent decisions far, far, far away from our children. No matter what is the norm, believe we should keep all of this foolishness away from the kids because they already have enough to be worried about to become successful. Next clip I'm gonna show. I haven't seen it either. Suggested to me. We're just gonna peep real fast on some statistical facts in regards to the same subject matter, just for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna change gears.
Between 65 and 95, the number is hard to nail down. And we're told that something between 65 and 95, the number is hard to nail down. 65 to 95% of children who go through this process before they're 18 will eventually work to transition back. If those numbers are right, and you could illuminate that, that's doesn't support the position to push children through that process.
Well, there's some critical things to know about that. If we leave the child alone and don't affirm them, don't give them a new name and tell them to go to school if it's a boy, it's a girl. If we don't affirm that and don't push that, up to 92% of them will desist by the time they're adult.
92%.
Up to 92%. It can somewhere between 80-some% and 92%.
They'll grow out of this.
They'll just basically grow out of it. Here's the problem. And the side who's advocating for this knows this. If we get them on hormone blockers and get them going down the path of cross-dressing, identifying, and going through this whole thing, 100% of them will stay transgender. Yeah. Because they're locked in. They've changed. Once you begin to stop puberty and begin to interrupt the natural development of the body, you've interfered with the process that God had intended for them to go through. And so you're playing God with somebody's body, catching them early. And they know that this is why they keep lowering the age group. I mean, they're cutting girls' breasts off now at 12 and 13 years old and putting them on hormone blockers. They're doing it with younger, which is, to me, a total tragedy.
Well, I could spend, we can be here for 3 hours and 30 minutes, but so I've got to interject here and ask the really important question for me, and I don't know the answer to this exactly, but for the listeners, what brought you to the turning point in your life? What was the transition point for you?
Yeah, I thought I'd done the right thing. I thought this was cool, and I was going to be a psychotherapist. So I started studying at UC Santa Cruz. I was going to do my PhD, and I was going to help people transition. Right?
So this is while you were had surgery.
Yeah, I'm Laura. I'm at school. It's Laura. I'm going in. I want to study this. And so then I began to see, as the case I told you about, separation anxiety was the term for it, because he was identifying his mother. I thought, well, this is interesting. The more I studied it, the more I realized there are underlying causes. And nobody's talking about the underlying causes. When I went in and was approved by my therapist, he didn't ask, I told him my story, about how I was sexually abused, what had happened, the cross-dressing. And he said, well, what you really need is hormone therapy and reassignment surgery. And I'm on hormones for 2 years, and then they do the surgery in 1983. So, but he was wrong. What he needed to do is what I'm so passionate about today, is sitting down and trying to find out what's causing you to not like who you are.
That's a very important point, I believe. The most important part of this, I believe, is us finding out who we are and what makes us tick. He played it so well.
Story, about how I was sexually abused, what had happened, the cross-dressing. And he said, well, what you really need is hormone therapy and reassignment surgery. And I'm on hormones for 2 years, and then they do the surgery in 1983. So, but he was wrong. What he needed to do is what I'm so passionate about today, is sitting down and trying to find out what's causing.
Shout out my boy KCDG in the building.
You to not like who you are. What happened? Tell me about what happened. And it's amazing the stories that come out of these. Every one of them has a story to tell. We should be actually talking about their stories. We should hear them. Many of them are too embarrassed to talk about them. But it's funny. Once they are able to regurgitate what happened and be able to deal with it, the healing begins right at that point, because then
all right, shout out the Situation Report for running that story. I already know that's a very unpopular topic. But it needs to be addressed. Sometimes we won't touch on it here and there. It's cool. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna switch gears because, like I said, that there is a sad topic for me personally. Real quick, pull this up real fast. I just wanted to touch on a little something.
Without me running my mouth too much.
Hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. Everybody can see this real quick. The reason why I'm bringing this up is a friend of mine. Everybody's familiar with KCDG. Has brought this up multiple times. It's script switch. No, wrong one. Wrong tab, my bad. Same one. What's going on? Yeah.
Roll the film.
Skeptical American public about taking the vaccine, and it should be.
We can't trust the president and take.
This is when Donald Trump was in office. Mind you, let me preface this. This is when Donald J. Trump was in office. This is how your politicians feel about the vax. When Donald Trump was in office, the same vaccine, same companies, everything is exactly the same. This is what they had to say when Trump was in office.
His word and take a vaccine that might cause harm to us.
If and when the vaccine comes, it's not likely to go through all the tests that needs to be and the trials that need to be done.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us.
When we finally do, God willing, get a vaccine, who's going to take the shot? Who's going to take the shot?
Look at these evil people. I'm going to let it keep playing. But I want you to look at these evil. Hit the like button, share this. I want people to watch this. Look at these evil people. Why do you say the evil? I have to justify it, right? Why would they say this when Trump was in office? But now all of a sudden, it has changed. Same company, same vaccine, same distribution process. Everything is exactly the same. It's propaganda.
We will need to have access to the vaccine results so we can make our independent assessment to make sure that Donald Trump's fingerprints are not on it.
You can be the first one to say, sign me up. They now say it's okay.
Is the vaccine safe? Frankly, I'm not going to trust the federal government's opinion. And I wouldn't recommend to New Yorkers based on the federal government's opinion.
And the question of whether it's real when it's there, that requires enormous transparency.
Would you trust that vaccine?
There's very little that we can trust that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth.
We cannot take for granted this process will be free of political influence.
I don't trust the president, and I don't trust the FDA.
If Donald
I'm just saying. You hear this, man. I'm probably not the only one tired of hearing the same thing over and over again, but you just gotta pay attention to the facts. You gotta pay attention to the facts. When I say pay attention to the facts, we have to do our own research. We got to do our own research. Confirm the facts. Confirm the facts. If we do not confirm the facts, we are going to be running around in circles. Let's see. I'm going to play one more clip out of my drive real quick.
Dude, I'm 29. I'm more confused than I ever have been. We live in a time where you have access to so much information, but the problem is there's so much information that you can find any information that backs up whatever you believe or whatever your claim is, so you're always right, but you don't know if you're actually right. Just think of anything. You can prove it if you want. Like, I'm in the line to get a coffee. I can bet you I can find that coffee causes blindness. I'll Google it right now. Coffee causes blindness. Watch. Oh, looky here. More than 3 cups a day can contribute to glaucoma. Now watch. I'll look up if coffee can contribute to better eyesight. Oh, look, it can prevent against deteriorating eyesight and possible blindness. I mean, which is it, dude? Experts are like, oh, I don't know why anxiety's at an all-time high. Hey, maybe because I can't even sit down and enjoy a cup of Joe without wondering if I'm going to go blind or not. Who turned out the lights?
Ooh, I forgot the mute button. It is imperative that we stay vigilant. It is imperative that we flex our discernment muscle daily. We got to flex that discernment muscle as if it is too heavy and we got to trim it down. We got to flex that muscle like it is too weak and it's time for us to lift very, very heavy situations with our decisions. Once again, the chaotic portal. Shout to the chat. KCDG and Geach, as usual. You already know, for all your credit repair needs, we have timemanagement.com, link in the description. All the extra content is going to be at the official kingcrucial.com, along with any of the apparel. Don't forget Family First, G the Baker, brand new. Link will be in the description. See if you miss anybody. You got the loveyourself.com for all the family and business services. Anybody got anything they want to say? All right. In the famous words of my boy King Crucial, Think with greatness. Everybody have a wonderful evening.